we certainly aren't inventing Jack Ryan. So, Tom Clancy invented him. He is so mature now. I mean, the films are different. The Krasinski TV show went in a different, that's a reimagining of Ryan. But if you look at the original books and who Jack Ryan was, by the time we get this series 23 books later, everybody who's a fan knows who Jack Ryan is. And so who is he? He's a Boy Scout, right? He's been called that in books and films. Like, he is a guy that does the right thing even when it's hard to do. He does the hard right instead of the easy wrong. He is driven by service, he's driven by commitment and patriotism above his needs, above even the needs of his family, which you see reflected in Defense Protocol. And so that's what we wanted to flesh out. We wanted to embrace that side of Ryan that you didn't maybe see in the books leading up to it, because we hadn't introduced, other than Jack Jr., who's a badass, right? Other than Jack Jr., you don't really see stakes for him personally and intimately with other family members. And so we asked ourselves, what would that be like? What would that be like for a Jack Ryan who always does the right thing, who's going to put the nation first, if his baby girl is out there on the pointy tip of the spear, if Kyle is out there in executive power and in harm's way? So that was really, really fun for us to explore. We have to keep Jack Ryan, but how is that relationship with his family going to drive and conflict decisions that he has to make as the, commander in chief?
Every author wants to write. And so, what's really cool about our partnership is that from the beginning, we both made it clear that, hey, we're excited, right? It's not going to be a situation where one person is sort of the editor or the other person's the business person. One person does all the writing and supervising. So, and I know some co-author teams work that way. I think it depends on where your stages are in your career and how you gel as a partnership. But we're a true writing team. And so we write third person, multi POV. We divide up chapters. We're writing simultaneously. And the other really cool thing is that we switch characters. So both of us get a chance to occupy the headspace of all the different point of view characters throughout the writing process. So number one, that makes it really fun. Number two, we both get to know all the characters. And number three, there's a little bit of our own personality and intellect and experience that informs, how those characters behave and act. And by the end of the book, I think what makes it really cool is that Andrews and Wilson really is a blend of both of our, experiences and personalities. And so when you read our books, you get a different feel than you do if we were to try to write a book individually. It would have a different feel and a different impact. And so yeah, we both write both characters, so a little bit of Jack Ryan coming from each of us.
And I think the geopolitics of the world definitely informs us. As former naval officers, both of us continue, not just because of what we do for a living and it sort of helps our brand, but because of our own intellectual curiosity. We read voraciously about, the current geopolitic. And so we're well versed, well read. We stay in communication with close friends that are still on the pointy tip. And so those things are always bumping around in your head. So as an author, when you ask your next what if question, it's almost inevitable that it's going to be something pulled from the real world. In Collateral, for example, we write this book about Russia invading Ukraine, and we did it before it happened. And my wife was upset. She was like, do you think that Putin read your book? Because he really did it exactly the way that we proposed it. It's better to be lucky than good. We're certainly not prescient, but if you understand and educate yourselves, there's certain ways that people act. So on the one hand, yes, we are very motivated and informed by the current world geopolitics. On the other hand, I think we also tend to take a true hero's arc. We're very apolitical. We're totally nonpartisan. We're like Jack Ryan's a great example, or Kelso Jarvis in the later books. These are the leaders we want to have, right? And so they are balanced by both, principle and motivation that's pure. And so I think that when you look at how Jack Ryan reacts, it's how we hope whoever the president is would react, putting the nation first, putting our people first. But there is something to be said about being a little unpredictable, right? Like, remember Reagan in the Reagan years, they were always like, "Oh, he's going to bring about World War III, right? He's like a cowboy. He's got his finger on the button." But it brought about incredible peace because the bad guys also were like, "This guy's crazy. He's got his finger on the button. We gotta not." So I think there's some truth maybe to that. But in our books, we always remain politically agnostic, partisan agnostic, and we write the world the way as naval officers we want it to be, right? You serve whoever. The commander in chief is the commander in chief, and you are there to execute policy, not to decide it. And we try to reflect that in the books.